My name is Roman and it's Marketing Watch House, and welcome back on the channel. And today we are going to start our long-awaiting series on how to connect to Google Ads API with Python. And the reason why it took me so long, more than a year probably, to actually come back to this topic and start doing it, is because just to start interacting with Google Ads API through Python and working with your real client account, it takes so much effort. And from my own personal view, it takes a lot of effort compared to Facebook, to Microsoft, to Apple Search Ads. Like, none of those systems requires you to go so much into details and like understanding how to make it work. But the good news is that this is a test example of some Python script I took from the website, and it actually works on my local machine, which is an enormous success for me, guys. I can honestly tell to you that I was so happy to make it work after so long. And the problem is, like, throughout the last year, they updated the library, and I'm no longer any good with the like latest examples. So it will take some time for me to actually understand how it works. But what we're going to do right now is to make your machine working with Google Ads API. And from my point of view, from what I see on YouTube and the internet, it's the most complicated question. It's not like to interact with API, but to make it, to gain access to that. And the reason why it's so complicated is because you need this file. This file is called Google Ads YAML. It can be called whatever you want, but it's a YAML file. It's very famous. And first of all, you will see two different types of YAML files on the internet. One is not going to have anything in the very beginning. So it's going to be just the file. And the other one is going to have Google Ads, and then the parameters. Sorry, Google AdWords. It's the old one, and I'm not longer interested in that one. So systematically, these two files are exactly the same. The only difference is that the up-to-date file doesn't have this line, and the latest library doesn't require this line to exist. So what you're going to have is this file that you can download from the description below, or you also can download on the website where the library exists, which must be somewhere not far away, I guess. Yeah, I will show it just in a bit. So to make it work, what we need first is to make sure that you have Python 3.7 or later. To do that, we're going to go and say download Python. I would recommend you to take the latest version, which is 3.8 or 3.9, and just use that one. You also need somewhere to write the code, and I personally recommend you to go for PyCharm Community Edition. This is more than enough. You don't need to have a professional if you're just starting doing this, which is going to be download, and here is going to be, sorry, this is the Community Edition. So installing these two things will give you an access to Python itself and somewhere to code. And after you start your PyCharm, what you need to do is to do a new project in the very beginning. Pick the folder you wanted to make it work in and all these details. But like, there are a lot of tutorials on that, how to make it work. And if you have any problems, which you shouldn't have, but in case, because all machines are different, just you 100% will find the solution out there. But after you did all of this, what you need to do is to install a library called, if I'm not mistaken, let me check here. Yeah, it's going to be Google Ads Library. And the easiest way to install it inside your PyCharm is on the very top. If I just close all my folders, you will see this is the project file I have, and there is another file that just under the project file, which is called requirements.txt. And all you need to do is just to write these three lines here, which is going to be pandas, Google Ads, and Google-Ads. And that will automatically pop up. For example, if I do Google Ads as, you will have a pop-up asking your permission to install a missing library. And this is the easiest way to install library in PyCharm, by the way. After you do that, you almost have everything you need on the technical side. and we come to much more difficult, much more painful part of filling this file. So what this file is it's actually an access card, something that gives your script all the all the information the script needs to an access to Google Ads. And what this file, why this file is different from what you will see in Apple Search Ads or in Microsoft, in any other system, including Yandex, is that it requires two different tokens instead of one, which is, from my point of view, is unusual. So token is like a secret password that will allow you to access Google Ads. And the one token that you need is going to give you an access to Google account in general, to your email, to your whatever you want. And another token will define how much things you can change in Google Ads. And this one that will define how much things you will be able to change in Google Ads is actually developer token. And the token that we just given access to Google in general is a client ID, client secret, and refresh token. So first of all, you need to make sure that you have developer token. And to do that, what you need to do is to go to Google Ads account, to your MCC. I don't know if this is possible to implement inside the just client account, but I assume that in most cases you're going to have the MCC. Then you go to Tools and Settings, and here you're going to have API Center. And here you see there is my developer token, and there is an access that is called Basic Access. And there is a Apply for Standard Access. When you come to this website, you will not see your token being here. What you need to do is to request a token. You will have a button here, which is going to have a restricted level, like a sandbox or something. You will not have a basic access just from the very beginning. To actually have a basic access, you will have a link here to fill the form, which I guess is going to be, this is the form you will have to fill. And this form has a lot of questions to fill in about who you are, what your company is working, do you manage your clients or do you manage your own accounts? This is quite a big form, and unless you fill it and it got approved, there is no way you can access Google Ads directly. You only can access the test account that you need to create later. So I was very afraid of this because like a lot of questions here just do not feel under what I'm doing here, what I'm usually do, and it took me quite a while to figure out what they're actually looking for. But in general, this form is not very complicated. What you need specifically to take into account, that you need specifically to write down what is your business, what you're working on, are you a client or you an agency, do you plan to mutate or change anything actively inside your accounts, or do you want to only reporting access, do you plan to access the forecasting tool or you do not need that, and a few other questions. And if you fill it like properly, then even if you miss something, they will follow you up and say, okay, we don't see this and this information here. And then you just can reply to the email. So this is the example of questions that I failed to answer. Do you plan to do any keyword research via the API? Specifically, do you plan to use targeting ID service or traffic estimation service? And both of these services have a direct relation to Google Keyword Planner. So when you fill this form, be very, very careful. The most difficult part, I guess, is upload the design documentation of your tool. Must be in PDF, doc, or RTF file formats only. And there is an example of the file they're sharing. And this example contains all the questions you need to fill, and be very careful when you fill these questions. Try not to use any double meanings or anything at all. Like, you can write the same thing twice or three times just to make it clear, because after all, this form is going to be read by people that have lots of forms to process. They just need to find out what's the overall information. Do you try to sell this tool? Do you do it for public or for private only? And this kind of stuff. And in the very end, there is a tool mockup stuff. And this is where I failed. I actually failed to read this down, because when you scroll down, there is an example that I totally forgot to delete. And whereas I claimed that my tool is not going to have any interface, this picture was inside, and they were very confused with that. So if you only plan to use the internal ad hoc solution, then don't forget to remove this visual pictures here. They just cost me like a week of my life. But whatever. After you fill this form and you send it out, in a few days or in a week, you're gonna have a confirmation, a rejection, or they will ask for additional information, and you will have a developer token here, which you gonna copy and then paste inside the developer token. This is the easiest part, I would say. This is the most difficult part, sorry. So another thing you need to do is a login customer ID. This is your, if I'm not mistaken, this is your MCC ID, which you can just copy from there, paste here, and don't forget that it should be just a number with no dash lines or anything like this. So this is the login customer ID. Then there is another parameter, validate only false, that you can just keep it as it is. And then we come to the last 3 lines, and these 3 lines are gonna give us an access to Google itself. So to do that, first of all, we need to generate client ID and client secret, and then separately we need to generate the refresh token. And this is the most difficult part, that you need to generate this separately, and it's not very easy to find out all the information about it. So to do that, what we need to actually do is to go to this page, which is going to be linked in the description. And here the Google Ads define how to get an access to, how to get this token. It's called OAuth to authentication. And here we have installed app. And this is what I'm going for. I'm trying to make an ad hoc solutions with a lot of scripts that I'm going to run and get some data from the Google Ads and maybe mutate something. But I'm not going to make a web app. I'm not going to sell it. It's just my internal tool. So this is what I'm trying to do, is to get the installed app. So here it is, create your own client ID and client secret. And to do that, you need to go to Google API Console Credentials and just follow these steps. And if you don't have Google API Console, you need to create one. So this is why it's so complicated. And after you follow the steps, you're gonna have this dialog with your client ID and your client secret being available. You need to copy these 2 things and then paste them here into client ID and client secret. But also you will need them once more because you don't have refresh token, and this is another thing that you need to have. And to generate the refresh token, we go a bit further, and there is a configure and use a client library. We click on Python, and then again I use installed app flow, which by the way I think, yeah, it is the same way. So we have this file, we have this page on a GitLab, and this is another guide on how to use client ID and client secret and the get refresh token. To do that, what you need to do is to download this file, AdWords generate refresh token.py, copy paste this, which I guess is just, okay, I don't remember where is the copy. I usually work with GitLab, so no, nonetheless. Just copy all the stuff, paste it in your Python folder and run it. So I'm gonna do right here, new file, and then refresh token.py. I don't want to add it to version control, and then I paste it here. I get this way, and all I need to do is to add here default client ID and then default client secret. So the same things I put inside here, default client ID and client secret, paste it here, run the script, and this script should return me, sorry, wait a second, I lost the page. And this script will launch the web page that will ask you for permission, then copy some temporary token, paste it back to the terminal, which by the way, if you don't know, is here, and you will see it when you run the script. And then you will have your code and access token, refresh token. And this is the refresh token you need to have and need to copy paste as output of your script inside the Google Ads public here. So I can just try to replicate this for you so we are on the same page. So here on the script, I have this link. I need to click on it, and the script awaits for the code that will happen here. So I log in to my account. I allow manage your AdWords campaigns. By the way, they forgot to rename it here. Then I do allow again, copy paste the code, come back here, paste it, push enter, and here I have my access token and my refresh token right away. Okay, so I've updated the refresh token in my main Google Ads YAML, which I definitely cut it from this video. And I also, don't worry, I updated all the tokens here, so there is nothing you can actually see. And this is an important thing I totally forgot about to say about this, is like anything at all in this file should be private, and you should never ever share it with anybody else. This is a complete access to Google Ads with the API, so be careful. So after you fill that file, you can run the Google Ads scripts. And to do that, to actually run it, what you need to have is need to have, let's go back. This is an example, by the way, which I took. Sorry for like jumping here and there. I just want to show you everything. So this is close to the right. Oh, this is so complicated. So let me just do this. Okay, this is the page on the library page. There is an examples folder here, and you can copy any script here you want at all. So I can just, let's go to reporting. Let's go to get keyword stats, and there is a main function at the very end, if name equals main, and this is the code that's going to be run first. So what they do here, they create Google Ads client equals Google Ads client class dot load from storage, and this will load your credentials from your YAML file. Then they do some checks in case you run it from the terminal, which I'm not interested in. And then they just run the main function, and they pass Google Ads client, which is here, and they pass the customer ID. So let's come back and see how I've done it. So this is the Google Ads keywords reporting file. So yeah, here I have, this is exactly the same copy paste, so no need to worry about that. So I have if name equals name, and I do not run it from terminal. I don't need this parse, args, and this is kind of stuff. I just run the main function with the Google Ads client and with the ID of some existing client inside my MCC. So to make it work, you need to create this Google Ads client. And the problem is that usually when they do load from storage, you very often have a mistake or error or something else that it's very difficult to find credentials. So what I did on the very top, again, inside the src file, which is the source code files from my project, I created a file called init.py init__.py, and I just created a small script that will always be needed for all the files inside this project. So I create a div path that will identify where exactly my local directory is right now. Then I create a credentials dictionary that contains a key, Google Ads, and then it contains my local directory, and inside it I have the creds folder, and inside it I have Google Ads.yaml file, which is here. And then what I do, I also copy paste the login information. This is something from the tutorial they have themselves, so you just need to copy paste that. And the very end, I do from Google Ads, from google.ads.googleads.client, import Google Ads client, and I create this Google Ads client each time I run the app. The beauty of it is that I don't need to think about load from storage or where the file is located or anything else. All I do is Google Ads client equals this, load from storage and then credentials Google Ads. So it takes this address from credentials file and it creates the Google Ads client for me that I can just import. And this is exactly what I do inside the script. In the very beginning, I have a line that says, where it is by the way, here. From source, from main folder, import Google Ads client, and then pass it in a main function. And as easy as that, just spending a few, maybe spending half an hour on this video and then spending a few weeks on making it all work, this script actually runs, which is an amazing success. But to be honest, guys, to be actually honest, is Google Ads API is not simple, is not easy to master, but it has a huge potential for those that manage campaigns themselves, for small agencies, for freelancers, and for marketing analysts that wanted to succeed in this area. And the thing is, the reason why it's happening this way is because you have an enormous potential of updating millions and thousands of keywords very easily compared to ads editor when you have to download everything locally, which sometimes takes hours, or to user interface, which is far from being perfect. And Google Ads scripts only have a limitation to 50,000 keywords in most of the cases. So besides the fact that it's JavaScript. So all in all, Google Ads scripts, all in all, Python API is an amazing tool to master, but you need to take into account that it will take some time to actually do that. And the same for me. I don't have any ideas so far what I'm going to build right away, what's going to be my next step here. If you have any script or any question or anything that you would like to see building inside my project, you're very, very welcome to write this in a comment. And of course, if you have any problem with automation, Google Ads scripts, Python, or anything in general relating to marketing analytics, just write me on LinkedIn and we probably will find something together that will solve your problem or maybe work together. Thank you very much. Subscribe to this channel, leave your comments and push a very big like because it took me a lot of time to make this video. Thank you very much for staying and I will make sure I will make another video soon. Bye bye guys.